So you might be wondering what I'm doing back at Sacum, or this town in general, when we've been here already and I gave up trying to find anything and just threw dice around for a solid 30 to 50 minutes. I honestly forgot. But if I can go back in, I could quickly show you all that there was a little something I forgot. Is it really not gonna let me back in now that I got it? Weird. Like, maybe it was like I had to use reveal. I can't believe I already forgot. This is just me trying to show off something that I already did off screen. Yeah. Right down here at the very end, this area that I thought was completely pointless until endgame, there's actually a chest here, and you'll never guess what was inside that treasure chest. Yeah, frickin' magma ball. It's no cyclone or anything like that, but with this, we can finally go to Prox, which it's a big enough incentive in of itself to finally be able to resume our randomized adventures. But before we begin today's episode proper, let me begin with a little rambling from the setup of this stream in particular. Once I learned how to spell things like significant and hiatus correctly, thank you autocorrect, online spell checks, or spell checks built into software in general, it's probably one of the greatest inventions of the modern era. Yeah. I actually was old enough to go to school back in the days where you actually had to use a dictionary to spell check everything you wrote. And I'm so glad that I happened to hit an adult right when that got phased out for essentially the internet. First, so how messy is my inventory? And I think it just seems more messy than it is because Felix is front-loaded with being the lead of the party and all, taking all the items as we get them. Wouldn't hurt to give myself a little refresher on where we're up to. So we got one of the three prongs that we need to progress into Lumaria. We got a good assortment of synergies. The latest one we got was Mind Read, but also have your basic early game utility spells, Whirlwind and Douse, Sand, Reveal. You can kind of see them on screen. And yet, with everything we had, I was like stuck on a roadblock for several portions of a stream. But with the magma ball, we can get the cannon, and with the cannon, I thought that was gonna fast travel me to the front of the town. Whoop. You know, I was thinking a lot, and I remember I forgot to do this thing of refresh myself of what the hints are. I have it recorded as a video and everything, and I forgot to do it. But I do know that, like, going to Prox will be key to getting something. And with this banquet ball, we can go to Prox. So I'm just gonna go on a whim and try to head on over to Prox and make our way towards... Oh yeah, that's right. We have to go to Loho first, get the cannon, and then we can go to Prox. Now I'm shaking off that rust. Oh yeah, and once we actually use the cannon, we can get you... It looks empty. I wonder what we can put inside of it. Maybe a glowing red ball of volcanic rock? Who's to say that that would work? Oh well, nothing's stopping us from trying. Just a note, that wall was not made out of ice. It's a solid stone wall. Maybe even more conform materials than that. And yet, the magma rock just completely obliterated. Right. Healing fungus. I think that's the one that lets us get a Jenny, which will be nice in itself. And it's awfully convenient that we have left here. I'll take whatever's inside here, even if I gotta dig for it. Something buried, but I can't dig it up by hand. I can't remember if that's vanilla text or something that the randomizer added, because I do recall more cases of just having to do guesswork of finding things buried underground. Or maybe it would work with reveal as well. No sign of anything significant. Guess it wouldn't hurt to dig around just to be sure. The question is, do I want to go to procs first or take care of that item? I think I'll lean towards the prior, because all we gotta do is go to procs. But then we can fast travel there at any time. I don't think we'll be missing out on too much. Right, you can go there, you can go on Shiba. We're not too far away from some multi-class shenanigans. And hopefully, like when we get to procs, we can get Cyclone and hopefully take care of the Jupiter Lighthouse. I just remembered that in order to complete the Jupiter Lighthouse, we're gonna need Hover. So it might take a little bit longer. I think that's it. We just need to do that in order to progress the scene to actually get the cannon installed onto our boat. Alright, let's take the journey north one last time. And hopefully never have to go through this long trek again. So, a lot has happened since the last time I streamed this. Big one being that whole Golden Sun NSL release. Hopefully some of you that are actually advanced NSO owners have gotten the chance to play the game. As much as I want more people to play Golden Sun, I completely understand if it's out of your budget personally to go and buy the premium version of Switch Online just to play one virtual console game. Biggest reason why I'm not pushing as hard for people to actually go out and play it, but if that's not an obstacle for you, then it's probably the simplest way to play Golden Sun and Golden Sun: The Lost Age. Especially because you can no longer buy it digitally with the Wii U and 3DS shops down. Alright, so I guess this is close enough. Is that a spray for having the cannon and not the wings? What? So much for having to go into my item inventory to get the cannon. Right, now what could possibly be here in particular? That would let us get Cyclone. Oh, yeah, I guess there's a couple bridges we can open up. Don't mind me if I'm taking in things and listening to what the NPCs have to say. Even though there shouldn't be any additional dialogue because it's normally impossible to get here this early. There's a part of me that kind of ponders if there would be any special dialogue that I might have missed otherwise. Specifically for this sort of scenario. Oh, I see something half buried, and it looks like a utility skill. Thankfully, we got the means to actually dig it out of the ground. Now is that... Okay, that's one of the two things that we need for the Jupiter Lighthouse. Right off the bat. Real good sign. Cyclone is the more useful of the two. So I'm a little disappointed that it's not that, but... Isaac's party is not that far away. Artifacts, that's what I actually should have been checking out. Oh wait, it's normal... Oh, I just assumed that it was an artifact because it's a freaking mist potion. No, you can buy as many as you like, and I probably just bought more than I'll ever need. Not that I could probably afford any after that whole debacle, yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get more money eventually. Oh, that was a blind guess. I'm surprised I figured that out so easily after, like, who knows, years since the last time I've been in this area. You know, I could probably sell the magma rock now that I think more about it, but first, let's make sure that I'm not missing out on anything around here. Nothing there. That looks like totally able to climb along the top of that sort of rocks. Well, they wouldn't have an open area like here if there wasn't something I could get from it. Oh. Sorry, friend. Didn't exactly see where I was going. Let me help you out of there. Shoutouts to this Jin being a trooper. It was apparently obvious that it was kind of annoyed, and yet it just joined us without any sort of hassle like a champ. Did we get burst yet? Because I didn't even think about that. Let's try revealing first, and go from there, you know? Yeah, oh, man, if I have to come back... Right, I don't have burst because that's the main reason I wasn't able to explore Magma Rock. It'd be kind of silly to come all the way back here just for one thing though, but at least I can easily fast travel. I'm kind of curious how far we can get into the Mars Lighthouse. We'll at least get far enough to get any special items or anything. But I don't know if that'll really be possible without... Like, this is the end game. So I highly doubt that we have everything we need. Also, I just realized we have burst, so we're probably not going to get anywhere, but I'm still willing to give it a shot. I'm more so worried that we're probably under-leveled, because they're in this, like, endgame area, and I definitely don't have endgame stats. Unless do I even have... It's been so long, I might not even have a void off. Yeah, this is a terrible idea, but I'm gonna roll with it anyways. Fish, with cold courage, they rule the water. That's the most opposing description of a fish that I've ever seen. Dragons, burning with might, they rule the fires. Really nothing that we can do here. Bird, on wings of truth, they rule the winds. Bird. Just something about bird. Embodies the element of wind, the most opposing force of the element. Mankind. With the power of wisdom, they rule the earth. It's like bird. I don't know. They rule the wind because they have wings or something. Moving on. You know, it might help me get caught up in levels quickly if I do find like a Wonder Bird and am able to take care of it without too much issue. Let's see how bad of an idea it is to come here this early. Ragnarok you. Who's my first defensive option that I have? I mean, I don't know how much resistance is going to help with 2 bowls with an axe. The E is silent, but you gotta be careful not to pronounce the X as an S. Not that bad, all things considered. Like, the attack boosting's not great, but I was expecting to, like, get obliterated by the enemies in here. I guess I'm just free to explore until I hit a dead end of some sort. Okay, it is a good thing that I came here. Because I can think of at least one thing that we can do with force. Yeah, who would have thought just one random chest and an optional dungeon that most people would just ignore because it's endgame. And that had the key that we needed to actually make progress on this seed. I mean, I'm not sure, and now that I think more about it, I'm not sure why I'm protecting. I just proved in the last battle that I don't really need it. Just something doesn't seem right. I'm only level 24. I remember like being in endgame. Even in Golden 1, like endgame's a little... 25's not weird for endgame, but it's not too surprising to be closer to 30. Yeah, I think that's... Oh, there is that other door. Unless I've been there already. Don't mind me, I'm just making sure I exhaust all the options before leaving here, because we already got one more synergy than I was expecting to get from this little bit of exploration. Who knows if that just opens up the door for there being even more that's within my reach. And with that in mind, we were able to get past that ice obstacle and actually make it all the way here. Again, like, we need burst still, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna hit a roadblock eventually. But just in town, I got hover. I'm kind of hoping Cyclone's not too far away, because once we get those two, we'll be ready to take on the Jupiter Lighthouse. The thing is that you got strong gear. You're right, I didn't take that in mind. I'm so used to having, like, Djinns kind of carry your stats. Which, I mean, I guess we kind of close to endgame levels of Djinns. It wouldn't be that way if we had the Isaac's party, because, like, they would probably take, like, half the Jinnies that we got, but still. No, that's the way I came. So this is the way forward. But yeah, I guess gears would also make me seem stronger than I actually am as well. Which is fine by me, because that means I don't have to worry about not taking any encounters here. And all the more time to gain experience for the final boss. Abuse is a bit of a strong word. The game gave me the materials to make all those forge equipment, so I made forge equipment. Granted, like, blame the randomizer, not me. If anything, the randomizer abused the blacksmith. What do you mean lies? I speak the truth. The randomizer seed gave me a bunch of forgeable material earlier than I would have access to. It's not my fault that I pick up everything I see. In fact, like, just in the time frame of walking over here, I got, like, even more forgeable material that I haven't even clocked in. Oh, hi, Random Djinn. Ah, you're from, like, the non-transfer save files. It's been so long since I've seen a Djinni in here that it kind of, like, caught me off guard. Granted, I haven't played the game in a long time in general, but I feel like I've played enough time back in my childhood that a gin that doesn't belong can stand out a bit more than usual. So I get the feeling this is our endpoint, which is fine because I'm sure there's some stuff we can do with Force. Well, not a lot. It's surprisingly underutilized, being an Isaac synergy and all, but speaking of the forging place, that does remind me of the one thing that we can do with Force. And hopefully Cyclone's not too far away, but considering how much I explored before I hit that exhaust point, I'm a little worried about hitting it too soon. Okay, good, I can teleport to Prox. I'm surprised the Mars Lighthouse isn't on here as well. Maybe it's just because I'm too close to it. Alright. Where is Sunshine's little home? Yeah, over here in yellow. And we could probably cash in the healing fungus for another Djinn. But not sure if I even want another Djinn at the moment. Here we go. Oh, don't tell me I actually need Cyclone to actually get anything in here. Ugh. Well, it doesn't look like I would be missing out on too much anyways. Just a trainer whip. Which is weird, because I thought I had that already. I know with Hover, as much as it pains me to say, we can go back to Shaman Village for like the 20th time. There is like one other thing, but I need Carry before I be able to do that thing. Right, the swamp is something I want to do, but I need growth before we can do anything with that. Let me focus on what I can do, and I'll just cross my fingers that the amount of things I can't do will go down. As I knock things off the checklist. Yep. It's cool. It happens to the best of us. And for people like me, it happens more often than I like to admit. I think I've done that already. I can't believe I'm climbing this dungeon a third time. Part of me wants to wait until we get Isaac's party, just in case that scene is tied to it, but also there's stuff with Cyclone, which makes me wonder if it's even worth it. Screw it. We're already in the cave. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Gaia's Rock. Growth was holding me back from Gaia's Rock. Cyclone and Growth, I think, are the two things that I could really use the most right now. But I'm trying to figure out what everything that we can get with these new synergies that we got. We did get 2. You think 2 synergies would open up a lot, but let's be honest, Hover basically exists for Jupiter Lighthouse. It's kind of a miracle there's anything else to do with it. And Force, that one thing we did with it, it's kind of the only one that comes to mind that we can actually do with Force. It's probably the second most underutilized synergy, if not the most underutilized. Is that a double negative? I guess I could also say least utilized and get the same point across. But does it count as a double negative if you don't actually use a word like no or not? Alright. This gets us access to the side area, but it's a shame that I remembered as I was going through the cave that there's probably some things hiding underneath Cyclone. But at least I'm finally getting some mileage out of Lift. I was kind of worried that that was another one of those synergies that barely get used in the game. But no, they just save it for endgame areas, because that's when Isaac would normally join the party. It makes enough sense in and of itself. Oh, I forgot that I didn't have a void off. It's gotta just be my imagination, but you seem way more resilient than the enemies in the Mars Lighthouse. But then again, I was just using standard attacks. Alright. If there's at least one thing I can get, which I do see, but the unfortunate thing I also kind of see that when the first thing you see is a synergy crystal, that's not the greatest of signs. I would have done this before, but I like having mind read on R. It makes me feel good. Yeah. Since this is obviously supposed to be a Jupiter Genie, can we just take a moment to appreciate... Well, maybe we won't be able to appreciate it. Right, yeah, before we do the obvious solution, I just want to take a minute to appreciate this glory of the Flying Mars Genie. It's a shame that the screen's not a little wider. But I want to do it while we can, because I don't think we'll ever have an opportunity to see something this magnificent ever again. Oh yeah, the whole escape if it doesn't run away. Not really hasn't really been a non-issue for me in the past, but I appreciate the concern. We're not too far away from a place we can just run off and get the load back in. I gotta fight it eventually. It's just too good. It's like you obviously know that it's supposed to be a Jupiter Genie with wings. Oh well. Oh dear. This is a new occurrence. Well, I think I know what my next... Sorry, the spin kind of caught me off guard. That was pretty good timing. But I think I know what the next short's gonna be. Good things have to come to an end eventually. Mars Genie appears, and I just realized how much I wasted my synergy points on utility spells. Not too much I can do with you. Cold Zombie will probably do a decent amount, but Impair might do more. Boost the resistance, or do I just go for an attack? Let's see, maybe I can get a Bane off, because Genies seem to be more generous with their the statuses that they're immune and resist than other enemies. Though I could be proven wrong. Oh hey! Something that could hurt us. Who would have thought? Alright, can I get a point? Good. That, honestly, that seals the game. Like, we won. I guess as long as it doesn't run away. Because that Venom is gonna take it out eventually. Alright, where's my AoE healing when I need it? Go Cold Zombie. I should... Oh, it's really this one single Mars Genie that was screwing everything up. Of course it is. And it's a revival gen, so it's not really even like something I can use without wasting a turn. Let me see if you also have anything in note. No, you know what? I think I might be better off just wasting Pierce's turn just so we can have Wish or something like that. Alright. I guess in the meantime I can use Crystal. Let's see it. Oh! I guess I was over-prepared for nothing. But now that I know that, I guess I'll have to pay a little more attention to my party. Well, nice to see you too, Torch. It kinda took a bit for you to come around. Alright, so that pushes us up to 3 gens. You know what, you seem to... Yeah, Shiba seems to just have all the miscellaneous Jennies. So I don't really see much of a reason to change that quite yet. Eventually we're gonna get the second party, and we won't have to worry about those sorts of shenanigans going forward. Alright. Unfortunately, everything else seems to be hidden away under bushes. I'll check the strategy guide once we get Cyclone to see if it's worth coming back here. If my memory serves, it might just be a mad plant and stuff like that. It might be like static things that the randomizer wouldn't even bother to change. But not really too much that we can do. I guess if you really hate using hover... No, it's not even good for that. It's just they really couldn't bother to put another hover panel to let you get back the way you came, so they had this extra convoluted path, I suppose. Well, time to speed run backtracking. My favorite activity. I grew up thinking like, backtracking's not so bad. I played Donkey Kong 64 and it was my favorite platformer for the longest time. Surely there's no way I could be bothered by backtracking. But it has been a while since I've last sat down and played through all of Donkey Kong 64. And I'm a little hesitant to, because I almost like to keep the positive memories. But I remember like going back to Jungle Japes as an example, when you get the other Kongs. It isn't too bad, especially if you just wait until you get chunky and then make one trip with all the Kongs you didn't have when you first went into that area. I remember that not being so bad. And doing it that way, like a whole bunch, so many new areas opened up that you barely even noticed that you were going back through repeated ground. But again, I haven't really done it since... childhood. And yeah, I did do the animals. We got Mind Read in like Treasure Cave once I had Lift, and the very first thing I did was go around and Mind Read all the animals. The bad news, they didn't have anything special, but the good news is that the doggy doesn't have to go hungry. And considering the ineffable madness that's about to unfold, I think this is a good point to end off this episode of the Lost Age Randomizer adventure. Sadly, I think we're back to scraping the bottom of the barrel, looking for our next lead. But looking ahead, I can promise at least one new Ginny the next time we meet. Hopefully there'll be at least something else that we get along the way. Until then though, take care.